Hey, can you please say your name and where you're from?
Well, I'm...
Speak to me. So we'll start again. Just speak to me the whole time.
Okay.
Yep.
My name is Rainer. I'm from Germany.
And Rainer, what brought you to Paititi?
Well, this time, I've been with Paititi twice before. However, I was that time a volunteer, and this time I participated in the month-long retreat. And it was just a matter of time until I would come here. It was never a question, I was actually tempted to come in, our winter time when it's summer here, because that's when I lived through here before, and I thought, oh, that's probably better than coming in our summer, which is the winter here, and I expected it to be very cold, but actually it was very, today it's raining, but the whole time was just, weather-wise, was just phenomenal, and it was never too cold. And actually the day when I arrived down from this mountain, and the next morning, 8 o'clock, I went down, and there are showers now here, and also they were cold. I stood under the shower and I thought, this is something which I cannot have in the best hotel of the world. Being back here on the land, it is just so magnificent and undescribable how that feels. The energy here, all the plants and the pure nature. So I was looking forward to coming here. It was always on my mind.
Now you mentioned you'd been here as a volunteer before. What made you want to come back as a participant and go through the Embody True Nature retreat?
Well, I would have gladly come as a volunteer again. However, this time the time frame was such that I couldn't come for the whole 7 weeks, but I had this 4 weeks. And my partner wanted to come as well. Actually, to come, especially this time, is mainly dependent on her, because the other time frame in the, around Christmas time, she wouldn't be able to come. So, yeah. Don't know if I answered your question.
How was the experience as a participant? Was it different than being a volunteer?
Yes, it was much more intensive. Be a participant, you are in a pressure cooker here. I felt like in a pressure cooker. I constantly have to look at myself. As a volunteer, you have more freedom. Of course you work, but if you don't want to participate in a ceremony, then you don't have to. And you can eat, whenever you want. And as a participant, you are under a very strict diet most of the time. Participating in an ayahuasca ceremony, you would have to start early in the morning. You get a little bit of quinoa to eat, but you don't eat much, and the next morning you eat quinoa again. And if these ceremonies are going on for 3 days in a row, for more than 3 days you just eat quinoa, and not that much of it, and maybe some yucca. And so that's one of the very nice things, actually, what happened to me now. In the outside world, I don't drink alcohol, and I eat very healthy. I don't smoke, of course. But one thing I never could let go of is sugar. If I walk by a bakery and there's a nice piece of cake, and I have to have my coffee and my cake. Well, here I didn't have any coffee and I didn't have any cake. And we are eating, maximum of 2 times a day when we don't have ceremonies. And I must say I have no cravings. I have no cravings for sugar anymore. It is just beautiful, you know. And even, you know, when we had, after San Pedro ceremony and all the foods come up and exceptionally there is some chocolate afterwards, I could easily pass on the chocolate because I was kind of advised to stay off the chocolate because another thing that happened, which is a little strange, just before I came, 2 days, something broke. I had an inflammation in my back. And in order to heal this inflammation, I just, you know, I wanted to come and I just went to the doctor before I took the flight and she told me, well, I have to take antibiotics and da-da-da-da. And I, of course, didn't want to take antibiotics because I knew I could not participate in the ceremonies here. You know, that would be counterproductive stuff. So I just, you know, took the antibiotics with me, basically, without using them, and came here and Roman, you know, worked with my infection, and it was actually pretty severe and, you know, without the antibiotics, of course, and it got healed up by now, beautifully healed up by now, which also brought something up which puzzled me, because why would I get this infection right before I come here? And why is it on the back where I can't reach it myself? You know, and I was always under the impression, oh, I don't need anybody, you know, I can do it through life easily myself and da-da-da. And here I get taught through this that I really depend on other people. It was a really good experience, you know, so it did something to me.
You spoke to some of the challenges. Were there any other particularly hard challenges for you during this retreat?
Well, challenges, yes. The major challenge this time was in the San Pedro ceremonies. You know, I had San Pedro's before, when I was here last time, or when I was also in Iquitos in the old center. One time I had San Pedro, and it was a very positive experience. I mean, I really, you know, got a lot of insights, and it was the right thing to do. It really was more important to me that time than the ayahuasca. And this time it was just challenging me to the ground. I mean, it was just the 3 times I took it, I mean, especially the second time, I got so weak. I didn't know during, you know, one of the gateways when we were walking down to the river how to get down there. I was so weak I could not walk. I would go step by step, but I was determined to go, and somehow I made it down there. But when I was down there, I was lying on the ground and I was literally thinking of dying. I had the feeling I'm going to pass out, and that's it. That was the true feeling, and it was not a scary feeling. It was just a feeling I'm going to not make it up this hill anymore. And, well, somehow I made it up the feeling. I mean, there was the other shaman here. What was her name? Matilda, yeah. Matilda. She looked at me and just said, yeah, put your fingers in your throat. And that I did, and you know, I just purged, and I thought, this is not possible, all the stuff is coming out here. And then suddenly the energy came back in my body, and I woke up here, and it was good. So that was an extreme experience, and it was not pleasant. And the next time, that was day before yesterday, we did San Pedro again, and I had the most horrible experience again. I was just asking myself, what is this all about? You know, everybody else is at one point dancing and enjoying themselves and having had the experience, and I had nothing. I was just feeling the most miserable all day long, and I could not make sense out of it. And I'm still wondering what that all was. You know, I mean, San Pedro is very alkaline, and thinking it's not the right thing for my body, for my biochemistry and so forth, but you know, some kind of purging and was not happening. Some kind of healing probably happened, but I don't know about it. So I just let this thing go. Yeah. Maybe at some point of time I will understand. But that I must say was probably the biggest challenge I had so far. You know, to be able to let my ego write that out, and where I can say now, it's okay, that just happened. I can smile about it, and I can have no hard feelings about it. You know, but initially it really stood up. You know, what am I doing here? This is absolutely wrong. On the other side, you know, the ayahuasca this time, which was a more challenge for me the last time, did very well with me. I got enormously, well, the whole experience was enormous. I was coming, and still, when I was still here, I was saying, look, my life is in order. You know, I have everything in my life I ever wanted. I arrived. Nothing in my life has to change. So in the meantime, I came to a totally different conclusion. You know, I identified myself very much as the role of a rolfer. It's my work. It is, well, work is the wrong expression. It is really a total passion. It's not work. It's actually the most pleasant thing I'm doing in my life. I mean, I have more fun doing that than doing anything else. Yeah? And I thought, well, you know, I want to be at least 80 years before I stop that, and all my energy is going to it, and I'm still, with my 66 years old, going to numerous classes and look for teachers all over the world, and it's just my life. And with the insights I got here, I thought, well, that's nice, but it's only nice, and I'm missing out so many things in life. I have never time really for my neighbors to just spend time with them. If my friends ask me, well, you know, when can we do this and this? And I say, well, you know, my calendar is full for 3 months. You know, let's make some time, and that will be no more. I work off my client list now, and then I will only take clients very selectively, and whatever comes, I will make time for all these things I did not make time so far. And I will challenge myself. Also, I don't need any more income. You know, I can live on my retirement money very easily. I will put a challenge in my life to find another way where I have to make a living, you know, get some financial rewards out of that, but they shouldn't be for me. I will donate that, or, you know, it goes somewhere where it has a good place. But I want to just have this challenge in my life. I don't want to go dead. And if I think now of that in the earlier times, I used to work in an office, it became so clear to me what a person that is. What an impossible life. Yeah? And I always remember last time when I came out of here and I flew to San Francisco and I stood there and I was wondering in awe, how can anybody live in a place like this? It's only cement. There is no nature. And also from that point of view, one thinks, oh, here everything is so primitive and, you have no electricity, you have no heating, you have not this or not that. It's just the easiest life and it's pleasurable and I'm in the moment. Yeah, I only have to look around and look at the river or I have to look at the mountain or have to listen the birds and all the critters around here. And I'm in the moment. I don't need anything. I don't need my past. I don't need my future. I need to just be here. And what I also don't get in the outside world is this type of connection I have here with the people. And the big theme really for the months and through all the ceremonies and all the dream works and all the breath works and all the things we are doing here is love. To really discover what love is. And that love is really everything. I mean, I don't need anything else, right? I understood so perfectly that it doesn't matter if I grow old now and, maybe I get blind or whatever. Even as a blind man, as a disabled man, and if I have love in my heart, life will be still totally 100% full. And it's so beautiful, and every time I was in the ceremonies, I was working through it, understanding more and more what love is, and going through all my life, and through all this hundreds and thousands of situations, it showed up, and showed me how closed my heart was. And then it showed me how it could have been if at that point my heart would have been open. This is unbelievable. What a life that would have been. So, no regrets there. I'm so grateful and so thankful that I know now. And I'm just so curious how it will play out when I go out there tomorrow, out of here, and how my life will play out.
Is there anything going forward that you can take from this experience to apply to everyday life, or something you're
Well,
willing?
that's I think what I just mentioned.
Yeah.
It will be very different. It will be very different. What I learned is that I just have to change certain things. I'm a very introverted person. I'm very happy just to be with myself, for hours or days. I have to take the courage to approach people. I'm used to let them approach me, but I never bother, going after anybody, pulling them out of something, or challenge them. I know, of course. And even if I come to situations, and I already, some of these situations already came up in the ceremonies that I potentially can go through with certain people, even when they appear to be difficult also for us. I will stay with them. I will stay through these very uncomfortable feelings these people might have, I might have, in order to arrive at the other side, because there's always coming a solution from this love I have in my heart. And I already know the situations I have to deal with. And there will be big change.
Is there anything else you'd like to share or impart?
Well, what I have to share is just that I have so much love in my heart for you, Anthony. I mean, you have been here 2.5 years ago. I'm so happy that you exist here. So happy that Elton has made his way here. We talked about it that time that he wants to do the shamanic apprenticeship, and I'm so thankful for all the people who came here. I mean, coming from all ways of life, so different, the youngest people and the older. I mean, nobody really old makes it, Desert Mountain, but if I think of Sylvia with 68 years, making it, I with my 66 years and another few in the older category, and then there's lots of middle-aged and young people, 20 years, and we all get along and love each other. I mean, really support each other and seeing each other going through these challenges. I only can say thank you. I'm just totally grateful for that. And of course, Roman. What a human being, I mean, the capabilities he has. And I've traveled much. I have seen many so-called gurus and whatever, but I think he's the most developed person I ever met in my life, at least from what I can tell. I mean, totally up there, and with his capabilities, and be able to lead, let me out of these situations, and taught me so much. I mean, he's the great star for me. And you guys, being here to support it and to have already gained so much strength out here and so much determination, and things are happening here so much. I'm just totally grateful. So, thank you.